Hello, disciples, and welcome to another edition of Imagine with Me. This is your General Minister and President, Terri Hord Owens, and I'm so delighted for these opportunities that I have to meet and listen to creative and innovative leaders across the life of our church. And today we're talking with the Reverend Sarah Nave Fisher. Sarah currently serves as the interim senior minister at University Christian Church in Hyattsville, Maryland, but she's here today to talk about her role as coordinator for our children's ministry programming for the upcoming General Assembly of the Christian Church in Louisville, Kentucky, July 29th through August 1st of 2023. So I'm so excited to hear all the exciting things that are happening and are being planned for our kids at General Assembly. So welcome, Sarah, and thanks for joining me today.
It's so good to be here.
Thanks so much. Well, tell us a little bit about who you are and your ministry and where you serve, and so people get to know you a little bit.
Sure. Well, as you said, I am currently the interim senior minister at University Christian Church, a lovely congregation that I'm really enjoying. I have been a little bit of everywhere. My husband is an Army chaplain, also Disciples of Christ. So he is currently the CPE Center Director at Walter Reed, which is why we are here and why we have been in a lot of places. So you have maybe seen me around. I've been in Texas, in Kentucky, in South Carolina, in Kansas City. So I have an experience with many regions and getting to know a lot of the church throughout the United States, at least. Not Canada yet.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, and I've met Jonathan, and I think Jonathan did one of the prayers or communion services for us during our virtual general board meetings. We did one general board where all the worship was being led by one of our chaplains. So we're thankful for his service, and just grateful for the work that you two do together as a powerful team. So thanks for your work. Thanks for his service. And thanks for taking the time to be here. And thank you for agreeing to be our coordinator for children's ministry and programming for General Assembly. This is the first time that we've had somebody in this role. Usually the local arrangements committee of the hosting region, the hosting city, does some work for children. And we're just in a different era and time where we felt like we needed to make a shift and really increase our commitment to programming for children. So why don't you share a little bit about the vision that you have, how children and families in particular are going to be able to experience General Assembly in a new way?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in my ministry, being clergy and also married to clergy is
Mm-hmm.
why I'm passionate about this. We attend General Assembly as a family and have since our kids were little. We neither of us were raised in the Disciples of Christ. So when we made that transition to the disciples as adults, it was something that we wanted to participate in as a family together. So the first time we went to General Assembly, our youngest was 3, and in the preschool programming. And now, many years later, all of our kids are in the youth program. We don't have any actual kids anymore in the children's programming. But having watched that experience and seeing how much our kids enjoy General Assembly is why this is something that I'm so passionate about, creating this opportunity for other families to be able to experience as well. Whether they're dual clergy or a single parent or grandparents who want to bring their grandkids, there's a lot of opportunities for families at General Assembly. So one of the things that I am really imagining when we're talking about what we imagine General
Right.
Assembly will be is that it's not just childcare. While, parents, grandparents, caregivers go to the real assembly,
Right.
that it is a whole family experience. So there will be ways that kids can interact in the exhibit hall. They'll be able to interact in worship. And
Cool.
our hope is that children see themselves as a part of the whole church, and that the whole church recognizes that kids are a part of them as well. So hopefully some of these experiences that we create will allow families to experience these things together, to maybe even take those experiences back to their home congregations after assembly.
That's so wonderful. I know our first vice moderator, Stephanie Kendall, and I have, with the worship planning team, given a lot of thought to not only we want to have more than just a children's moment, right? We want to have ways in which our children are involved organically and leading in worship in different ways, and creating our physical space. For example, we're going to have some tables up front where families might be able to sit, and also some free and open space. We're still kind of calculating how we can make that space happen and still have enough room for seating. But I think we're all, thanks to your leadership, really thinking hard about how we make sure that the children are not just, here's your spot and stay there, um,
Yeah.
or here's an activity, or childcare. So, what kinds of activities are you imagining? Like, what kinds of things, when you say engaging or interactive work in the exhibit hall, give us some examples of those kinds of activities.
Well, one of the things that I'm hoping for, we haven't put this all together yet, as you said,
Yeah.
assembly planning is a long process.
Yeah.
But maybe some sort of scavenger hunt in the exhibit hall where
Yeah.
they have
Okay.
like
Cool.
a pass and they go not just to get signatures at a booth, but maybe to find out what General Ministries does, or what Global Ministries does.
Mm-hmm.
They always have a very interactive experience there. Maybe uh y- I don't know yet what
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly this will be. Sort of depends on what booths are set up. I
Right.
have a dream of maybe a um, find a regional minister, find
Yeah.
a general ministry
I think they would love
representative,
that.
kind of uh, scavenger hunt or thing like that, where we can get the kids engaging with other people
Oh,
in
that's
the
awesome.
assembly.
We should do that for the adults. I think they're,
That's
I
a
think
great idea. One of the
there are
things that
adults who don't know who these people are. Yeah.
That's a great idea. I think sometimes we take some of these fun things and limit them to kids when really
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoys
Yeah. Yeah.
engaging
Yeah.
in different ways and maybe more interactive ways. So that might just show up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think this is such, an important part of our kids' formation, right? And identities as disciples. You mentioned that you and your husband became members as of the disciples as adults, as did I. I was in college, and my family moved to Indianapolis, and my siblings and my mom, we all made that decision together. But it's so important when you choose a church and then you have children, and you're making intentional decisions, right, about how they're being shaped. And I think General Assembly is a really important way to do that, because there's so many of us all in one place, right? And I'm really excited about the idea that families will get to experience it together. What are the ways, if there are people out there, for example, that say, hey, I want to get involved and help make some of this happen? What are the ways in which you need support and additional resource to work with kids? I think I always found it was hard in our church. Nobody wanted to work in the nursery, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody wants to go off and experience the things, but there may be somebody who's called to really work with you on these kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say there are sort of two main ways. One is a bigger commitment, and the other is something that everyone can do. We are still looking for volunteers for our programming for the nursery age, if holding babies is your thing, for preschool and for school age. You can reach out to me at children@disciples.org, and that's children@disciples.org, and I can send you the information for that.
Mm-hmm.
We are needing to fill those slots pretty soon because safety is a priority. So we'll be
Yeah.
doing background checks on everyone. No one will be showing up that week and saying, hey, can I volunteer? We need to run background checks and make sure that there's safety processes in place
Right. Right.
far before General Assembly. So if that's
Yes.
something that you even are just considering, please reach out to me. And I would love to get you in contact with the right folks and plug you in, whether it's for the whole time or maybe even one day would be great. Second thing is something that I'm going to encourage everyone to do, and that is when you see kids at General Assembly, stop and talk to them.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
just talk to their parents, right? I have photos of my kids at General Assembly sort of sprawled out in the hallway while they're
Mm-hmm.
patiently waiting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they really love, since we've lived in so many places, is seeing some of their old pastors and seeing some of the people that they have known from camp in some of the
Yeah,
various
yeah,
places we've
yeah,
lived. Um, for especially the kids who come to General Assembly, a lot of times their parents are their pastors.
yeah,
So how cool is it to remind the kids that there's other adults that care about you too?
yes, yeah.
So that's just my encouragement
Oh,
is
yeah.
for everyone at Assembly, ask kids what their favorite part is so far or what they're looking forward to, things like that.
Oh, that's great. An idea just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Um, the When I preached in Des Moines in 2019, I had members of the General Youth Council introduce me as the speaker. How about we find some kids um, that we could use to introduce me as the speaker
Yeah,
that night?
that would be awesome.
I would love that. I'm a new grandma, 5 months old, like a grandson, and so I'm just paying more attention
Hmm.
to children, and just more aware, and wanting a church, right, where my son wants to raise his son.
Yep.
And I think that's so important, recognizing them. You mentioned um, being having taken your kids to General Assembly for years. Do you have any tips that you could share for families about ways to make that experience, or things that you did to make that work for you as a family?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is just you can't do it all. It's hard, right? For my kids when they were little, their bedtime at home was 7:30, so 7 o'clock worship is just really late. So we would trade off. There's there are ways in which every family chooses to make it a special event and stay up late or go out to eat or things like that, and also our kids need downtime, they need
Mm-hmm.
rest, and so as hard as it is, taking those opportunities to maybe spend the afternoon at the hotel room to just sleep,
Mm-hmm.
keeping some semblance of routine, depending
Mm-hmm.
on age and your family
Right.
structure, I would
Right.
say is really helpful. And the other thing is remember that everyone is just happy that your kids are there. And
Yeah.
sometimes that means kids run, and sometimes that
Yeah.
means kids are loud. And for me, it's just a joy that they're there. And I hope that parents and grandparents and caregivers come recognizing and feeling that their kids are a part and included, and we don't have expectations that they're going to be perfect. And that's okay. They're going
That's
to cry.
right. That's okay. They're going to cry. They're going to make noise. They're moved.
Yep.
They're learning. We're imprinting at this point, right? We're
Yep.
imprinting, and these memories are going to stay with them, for the rest of their lives. My son was 7 years old in 1997. I guess that dates me, but my husband was the music director at the General Assembly in Denver, Colorado, and Marion Wright Edelman was preaching that night. It was a children's night, and there were four kids, different ages, who each sang a verse of When God is a Child. And
Mm.
my son had the first verse, and he remembers that. He is now a composer and producer, and when he was in the 7th grade, he decided that he wanted to produce and write. And my husband encouraged him to arrange something that he knew already. The very first vocal arrangement that he ever did was an 8-part a cappella arrangement of When God is a Child. That song is imprinted
Yeah.
on his heart from church,
Yep.
and because he sang it. And General Assembly, right?
Yep.
He wrote a piece for us in Des Moines in 2019, and left that assembly to go propose to his now wife.
Oh.
So Assembly has played.
Yeah.
We always remember he got engaged during General Assembly, but that imprint of that 7-year-old and having that experience is there. And I am just looking forward to all the ways in which our families are going to be able to be present and
Mhm.
engage. Your wisdom about downtime, you can't do everything, and just
I
making.
try to,
Yeah.
but it's not live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm going to covenant to you that I will be speaking to the children wherever I see them,
Lovely. Because you
unless
know
you.
what? One of them might be the GMP in 30 years.
That's
You know,
exactly
40
right.
years, you never
That's
know.
exactly right.
Yep.
I have a cool picture of one of the children I want to see is Andrew Moran's little girl, who was 2 the year that I was elected. And there's a picture of her standing in front of Flat Terry.
Yes, yes.
Uh, and so Andrew and I have committed that we've got to figure out a way for me to get another picture with the real Terry. now that
Oh,
she's grown. But
absolutely.
Sarah, I am so grateful that you have taken of your time and energy in an already busy life as a mom and as a pastor to care for all of our children who will be at General Assembly. It's so important. And as we're in a different time, as you said, it's not just about dropping your kids off for childcare. It's about helping families to experience General Assembly as a family and adding to the formation and imprinting of our children so that they have memories to share, and that we're reminded that they are with us. They are the church, and
Now they're the church.
now they
Now.
are the church,
Mhm.
and we must ensure that they continue to grow and develop, and that we can imagine the church that we imagine is the church that they'll sit in our seats, but they're here now, and we need to care about them and ensure that families feel that they can be a part of not only General Assembly but our whole church and our congregation. So thank you for
Thank
that
you for your
passion.
leadership
uh,
in creating this space. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
we're
you.
excited, and let's talk about who the children are that will introduce me
All right.
on
Sounds
August
good.
1st. I'm really that came to me. I said, yes, let's do that. We had the youth do it last time, so I would love to have some kids stand up and so that they know who the GMP is. There are
Yep.
adults who don't know,
Yep. That's
so
right. That's right.
we want them to
The
lead
kids
the
can
way.
teach them.
That's right.
Yep.
And a little child shall lead them. So
Indeed.
thank you so much,
Thank you.
Sarah. Looking forward to all the fun things that families can do. And we just thank you for your service and for your willingness to chart a new path with us in this role.
Thank you.
Disciples, I hope that you have registered for General Assembly July 29th through August 1st in Louisville, Kentucky. When you register, there is a place to indicate what age, that you're bringing children. We need to know that your children are coming so that we can anticipate them being there. And as Sarah has indicated, all the exciting things that we have planned, not just for your children, but for you as a family. We want to support your being a part of General Assembly in Louisville, Kentucky. And as a whole church, always want to support your participation in the life of your congregations, wherever you are. Please know that we want to be a church where you want to raise your children and for your children to have those experiences. So thanks to Sarah Nave Fisher and her leadership. We look forward to seeing you all. And please know that if you see me in the halls, I'm going to be speaking to those children. Looking forward to it. My 5-month-old grandson will be joining us, although by that point he'll be 7 or 8 months old. But my grandson will be there that last night of GA. So we're looking forward to sharing in General Assembly with my family. And I hope you'll be there to meet my family. Take good care, disciples. Remember, God loves you, and so do I. And I'll see you at General Assembly, July 29th through August 1st. God bless you.